Hello everyone, my name is Brenda Miller from Among Brenda's Quilts and Bags, and today I'm going to show you how to avoid backstitching when doing top stitching on a patch pocket. We're going to use two colors to make our pocket. The back of the lining is actually going to peek out at the front of the pocket, so we want something pretty back there too. I've cut two pieces. The front of the pocket measures 6 by 5 1/4, and the lining and the piece that pops over to the front, the back, measures 6 by 7 1/4 inches. So the first thing we need to do is just pin our two edges together, and then we're going to take it to the sewing machine and sew across. I've sewn a 1/4 inch seam along the top edge here, and next what I want to do is press the seam. So first I will press it flat. This sets the stitches so that they don't show as much. Now I'm just going to peel back the top of the outer pocket and press that. Next, what we'll do is we'll fold the two together, wrong sides together, and press. I just want you to see what that is going to look like. So this is going to show at the front. But because this is a patch pocket, we actually want to fold it over right sides together, and we're going to use that same pressing line to guide us. Press it this time. Okay, we're going to grab our pins again and add a few pins. Just so things don't shift around. And what I'm going to do next is stitch 1/4 inch to the bottom and stop around here where my pin is, and from the top again stitch down and across to the bottom, leaving an opening to turn that pocket through. So let's head over to the sewing machine. I'm using my Baby Lock Unity sewing machine, and the first thing I want to do is find my 1/4 inch foot and put that on the machine. And here's our pocket, and we're going to start sewing at the top of the pocket and come around to the bottom, leaving an opening. I'm just going to start stitching here. And as you can see, I stitched on the spot for a few stitches. Before getting started. I'll use my knee lift device to turn. And cut the thread, and we'll just start over here. Off we go. The knee lift is a nice time saver rather than, manually pushing buttons to bring that foot back up again. So I like to use that when I turn corners. Okay, so I have an opening here, and what I'm going to do is fold this back and press on both sides before I turn the pocket. So I'm just going to go do that and come back to the sewing machine. Alright, I have pressed that opening back on itself, and the reason I do that is it's a lot easier to press it right now than later, and it can tend to get a little bit buckled and curved later when you trim it because you've turned your pocket and stretched the fabric a little bit. But also what I want to do is just clip my corners off here so they don't get bulky when I turn the project. Okay, and I have a point turner, and these are, I find them invaluable. I use this every day, all the time. Mine's made out of bamboo, so it feels extra nice on the hand. And I'll just use that to get as nice a point on my corners as I can. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, there's my opening, and you'll see how nice that looks. I don't have to press it now and kind of force things back in there, which is a little tricky. But I'm going to go back to my iron and press my pocket flat, and then I'll show you how to top stitch around it without having unsightly back stitches. Alright, I have my pocket pressed and pinned to some backing fabric, and the opening of the pocket is at the bottom, and we're going to stitch over that to close it in a moment. So I still have my 1/4 inch foot on my machine, and my 1/4 inch foot has a little 8 inch side on it, which I'm going to take advantage of stitching my pocket in place. I'm going to start at a bottom corner, and I'm going to align the 8 inch side of my 1/4 inch foot to the edge of the pocket, and we'll just put the needle down and set the stitch, and off we go. We're going to make 2 lines of stitching on this pocket. And this is our first line, which is the closest to the edge. Alright, and using my knee lift, I turn the corner and head on off up to the top edge. Okay, I'm coming close to the top edge of the pocket, and I just want to be careful that I don't stitch off of it. So I'm about a stitch and a half length away from the top edge. I'm going to turn using my knee lift, and I'm going to take 2 stitches. My stitch length is at 2.5 millimeters, and I'm going to turn back to stitch back. I'm also going to turn on my sensor light, and what I want to do is just move that over so that it is about 1/4 inch away from the first line of stitching. Okay, so here we go. And this is going to help me a lot when I get down to the corner. I want to turn my corner, but I want to be kind of sure that I'm still 1/4 inch away, and the light will help me with that. So I'm just going to turn it and check, and it looks, I'm too far away, so I'm going to go back and take another stitch. There we go, that's way better. You can see that. It's going to be correct now. Okay, we're coming up to where we started. And my sensor light's going to help me again. Okay, obviously I'm too far away if I turn the corner here. Let's take another stitch and check. And one of the features of the machine is if you just press the presser foot once, it will take one stitch. So I'm pretty confident now that I'm on track for my 1/4 inch. So we're coming up to the other top edge of the pocket. And we want to be about 1.5 stitches distance away from the top like we were here. One more. Turn. Come back to about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Turn. And head on down to our starting point. Let's turn. I think we need one more stitch. Maybe just a little bit less. There we go. And now I'm going to stitch back to my starting point and finish by just stitching on the spot. I'll cut my thread and lift the foot. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now what I want to do is finish the top edges with a bar tack. So I take off my 1/4 inch foot and I'm going to get out an open toe foot because I want to see exactly where that bar tack is going. An open toe foot is exactly that. It's got a big open area that you can see through. It gives you lots of visibility. Okay, back to my screen. I'm going to go to the button area and scroll down, and this little icon here is a bar tack. And I kind of have to have a look at how wide I want to make my bar tacks. So, let's say 4 millimeters would be good. So on my width, maybe 4.5. I can always just test it too first. So let's do that and then we'll be absolutely sure. I've got a little scrap of fabric here and I'm just going to test my bar tack. Okay, we've set it down. We've got it set at 4.5 millimeters of width. It has no length. We don't want it to go forward. We just want it to go side to side. So you can do this with your zigzag button as well. Alright. You'll see that the bar tack finishes the stitch at the end. See that? Which your zigzag foot won't do. Or your zigzag stitch. Okay. Does that look right for my end? And I'd say it does. So I'm going to feel pretty confident that that will look good. I'm going to put down my needle. This is why it's nice to have the, just going to move that over. There. It's nice to have that open toe foot. Okay, here we go. Oh, I wonder if I'm out of bobbin thread. Hang on here. Because I'm not getting any stitches. Let's see what's going on. You can see how easy it is to get your bobbin open. You can turn off our sensor light now. There we go. Alrighty. Back in the saddle again. First side. great. So if that pocket gets, oops, a little bit of stress put on it, we've got a nice bar tack to help with that. This one just looks a titch wider, so I'm going to, 4.5 is as wide as we go with a bar tack. So let's finish that off. All right. There we go. A very nicely finished pocket. I also want to show you how to do a bar tack with your zigzag stitch. So we're going to go into our menu with the zigzag stitch. Press that. And we've got our width and our length of our zigzag stitch, and we don't want any length. So we want to get rid of your length. Bring that to 0. There we go. And up our width to 4.5 in this case. And down we go. So we give it about, I don't know, 10 stitches. Whatever you think looks good. And then I'm going to do that stationary stitching and cut the thread. And your width of your zigzag stitch will go wider. So we go up to, oh gosh, you can go up to 7 millimeters with that. I don't think you'd ever want to, but you have a bit more width that you can play with there. So there are 2 ways to do bar tacks on the Baby Lock Unity, and probably your other Baby Lock machines as well, to help you make a beautifully finished pocket. Thanks for joining me. My name is Brenda Miller from Among Brenda's Quilts, and I hope you visit me soon. Bye.